Welcome, guys, to another episode of JR's Corner. Geraldo, Cleophas. No introduction needed. One of my best friends, lifelong friends, currently residing in Saudi Arabia. Uh, yeah, how can I introduce you? Teacher, psychologist, friend, the love doctor, um, fitness enthusiast. Yeah, those guys accolades for businessman, entrepreneur.
There's so many to be added.
But yeah, many accolades. But for one, just a really good friend, my brother. But siyempre van die ouens van die laities van die dam, Kurt, Leal en Ayman en Grant en dinges.
To be honest, I don't know them personally, but anyone that's willing to see a better future for themselves, that go against all odds. I mean, they could have
Mm,
easily worked at Shoprite or
yeah,
merchandiser for a company, or I mean, they could have just gone the easy route and just get some easy money in terms of just
mm,
maybe go as a car salesman or just and it's always easy for people to look down on people like, yeah, but there's better, yeah, someone is
yeah,
bigger, someone is faster. But I come from the same circumstances, might not be the same as our households are different, but I mean in terms of the same environment, and I know how easily it is for someone to give up where I come from.
yeah,
That's the that And for me, anyone that makes it, especially to that level and that
yeah,
young, and
yeah,
to stay that disciplined, especially with that amount of access to money and resources at such a young age. And also with women, I mean, you can make one mistake and your whole life goes a totally different direction. So again, to be able to, like I said again, I don't know these guys personally. I don't know what's going on in their lives, but I do. I take my hat off to them, and obviously I wish them the best in every regard. And that's for anyone that comes from my community that wants to do anything, whether it's in sports. You don't always have to do, because everyone always talks about sports. You have to
yeah,
make it through rugby. You have to make it through
yeah,
cricket, to soccer, to basketball.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
know that's kind of the stigma, but
The
also,
stereotype of
yeah,
it.
yes, but the thing is, there's so many skills when it comes to working with your hands, skills that I wish I had, like
Yeah,
being able
nah,
to
the
make,
same, yeah,
yeah, so that's skills that I would wish, like, especially when I'm older, that I would want to acquire. But
yeah,
really, like,
carpentry, building,
but again, people don't talk enough about this. There's not enough
yeah,
workshops or enough knowledge, or
yeah,
to tell people, look, if you have the skill, there are places for apprenticeships available. There are so many
yeah,
opportunities. But again, you get men with these skills that's now like they are packing the lace racks in checkers, but they have
yeah,
skills to make amazing tables, chairs, fix sofas. They have plumbing, all these things, and then they go work for an odd job just to get like for 2 weeks to get like a fortnight.
yeah,
And it's a shame
yeah,
because they can actually build a future for this, and not just for them, but their families, and take it to a whole different level. And it literally takes one choice or one opportunity or someone to just show you, look, or even for them to go actually to go find it out for themselves. And I mean, sometimes, I mean, look, you just decided that you're going to do this podcast, and you took the time to actually go do research about, okay, if I actually am going to go for this, and if I'm going to spend
yeah,
time, which is your most valuable resource, because you could be doing anything else, something else now.
yeah,
So what I'm saying is, you went to go do research. You went to go find this app, for example. You went to go find, or for example, you actually are working on your craft. You're going back into your own conversations and seeing what could you have
mm,
articulated better. What could you have? Maybe you should have
mm,
given someone, a better. I don't know. However you measure your standards. But again, this made the podcast actually more interesting. Just I want people to be on the verge of what was he about to say next, so they can tune. We said we were gonna have a part two, So if the thing is,
uh,
if the host is waiting eagerly, I mean, I can just say, but the audience is gonna be on the same level.
nah, you definitely left me at episode 9, going for episode 10, end
Dude,
of season 4.
I'm not a one episode type of guy. I mean,
Nah, bro,
So,
you. The thing is with our conversations, because we are lifelong friends, it's a different type of conversation, man. It's a thing.
but
It's
we
easy
also
for
have
you.
to still. But the
It's
thing is,
easy for you to.
even if it's not me and you, I mean, you see the success you have with other people. I mean, other people also, you have the capabilities to also make someone at ease, to create a safe space, to create that humble environment, even though you also come from a very big sporting background. So again, I mean, a lot of people won't come on your podcast if they haven't viewed your previous podcast.
Yo,
And what I'm
brother,
saying is, and not just,
you know the thing is, man, how many people I've asked to come on, and then you know what they would tell me? Yeah, but I don't think I'm that level, to be on the podcast, to
yeah.
have a conversation. I'm like, nah, bro, that's not what it's about. The reason why I'm asking you is to share your story because I see a lot of value in
But
your own story
don't you
to,
think
to,
this
to
is
share
why?
with the audience.
But this is why I personally think that God is going to bless this podcast, and not just because you're one of my
Amen.
best friends, but because you are not one of those hosts that only goes for the people that particularly stood out and that are still standing out. You know, where that
Mm.
everyone knows. Because I mean, you have that kind of approach to everyone has a story
Yeah,
that's worth hearing
yeah,
if they have the courage to share it.
yeah,
Everyone has learned lessons, and anyone out there, um, that they can also learn from these people. And if you
yeah,
have that approach, it's impossible not to enrich someone else's life. You know, it's
yeah,
just impossible to fail, because no matter, yeah,
yeah,
you might not see in the first few months or even in the first year or two,
yeah,
in terms of views, or in terms of, our people are not really the ones to subscribe and share, and
yeah, yeah,
they, all that social media savvy and stuff like that,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
which is kind of needed in this space, to
yeah,
but again, and that's where the blessing comes in, because you don't know who heard one podcast, or
yeah,
and actually something inspired them to do anything that
yeah,
let like a ripple effect in their life in any way. You won't see it personally, you won't, maybe they won't even comment on it, maybe they are too
yeah,
shy to reach out, even
yeah,
maybe they have a
yeah,
view of you because they don't know you. They have a view
yeah,
of you already as well, and
yeah,
not knowing as well the type of person you are. But coming back to the
yeah,
point where you said, because we are friends, we are able to have this conversation so easily. I also think because you are who you are, and because I am who I am, we could have had this conversation at 2 a.m. with anyone else on the planet, because of who we are as people.
yeah,
I think with our story, our trauma, our victories, our lessons that we've had to learn, we are not shy from any road that's less taken. Um, and again, we do work on ourselves continuously. We have a high standard in regards to how we see ourselves. Not that we are better than anyone, but in terms of, we want to be the best versions for ourselves, especially for the people we love, but also the person that reflects back to you in the mirror. I mean, you do
mm,
have to have self love to have that much respect for you. I mean, that's why you
yeah,
technically still stay in shape. That's why technically you went into fighting, even. That's why technically
mm,
you want to go into podcasting. You have a lot of other ventures lined up, because
mm,
you see yourself as someone worthy of being
mm,
respected, right? So that also means you have to basically attract all the difficulties that comes with it. You have
yeah,
to go seek out the challenges. I mean,
mm,
you have to go find it somewhere. If it's not in the gym, if it's not in the ring, then it's into the entertainment area, into the entertainment field. But starting from scratch, the whole part is climbing to the top, and you've done it your
yeah,
whole life, and this is no different. And the next venture will be no different. I mean,
mm,
I see you posting painted nails of girl dad. I mean, again, another venture. I'm not saying that this is something that you necessarily have an end date, and it's like lifelong. But what I'm saying
yeah.
is,
That's
again,
that,
that
that's that's lifelong.
you were thrown into the deep end, and it was like, and you're still making it. You understand what I'm saying? But no, I really respect you for actually going after this. Like, seriously, it does take a lot.
Yeah.
Because again,
You
like,
know what? I was actually I was telling the story to a mate of mine, um, and just how it starts. Actually, somebody that reached out to me, you would know them. I would tell you
Yeah.
off air
Yeah.
or who it is, and they actually reached out to me, and they're busy doing the similar thing, and just wanting to find out how I started, how I did it,
Yeah.
the quality looked so good, and why. And
Yeah.
you were one of the first people that told me, listen here, brother, do the video, because until that point I only did the audio. And he said,
Yeah.
listen here, you told me, check it, just do the video, and then we'll just take it to another
Yeah.
level.
It's
We
just,
have to see the
yeah,
we
because
have to
also
see
the
the
thing is,
facial
I know the
expressions.
quality. I know the quality that you could deliver. It's and I didn't. I thought if I wouldn't say something, this would be good enough. And good enough is not
Yeah,
good enough. And I mean, that's
yeah,
why they say friends would give you the harsh truth. For example, like
yeah,
I said, if I was overweight, you would tell me, you would smack me on my belly, or you would be like, you know what I'm saying? Or let's say I would gym with you. I mean, what type of friend would you be if I'm doing something, but I'm doing it the wrong way, and you're not telling
yeah,
me? And not the
yeah.
wrong way, because I'm not saying, like, especially with the
It's
podcast in the
technically
beginning.
sound, yeah.
Yeah,
Mm,
because the thing is, in the beginning, even if it was that you were just gaining experience in one field, so it doesn't
yeah,
take away the, just even if it's just stepping your toes into it, it still
yeah,
doesn't take that experience away. But what I meant in terms of quality, or what I meant in terms of, because no one just goes on to
yeah.
Joe Rogan's level.
100%,
So what I'm
100%.
saying is, again, but I knew the because I knew the quality of the person you were and the type of conversations you can come up with. I just thought that you needed, or you deserved, a better platform to show it. Because it's like, I
Yeah,
don't know if you saw that video. They show a video of this guy that's one of the world's famous, what do they call it? He plays violin or whatever. And they put
yeah,
him in a train station, and
yeah,
this guy gets paid like $1 million per night or something, where he's from, or the tickets that he sells out. And when he went into a subway station, everyone walked past him, and I think that day he probably made like $50. But
yeah.
his musical instrument he had was worth 70 million on its own.
Mm,
And the moral of the story is, if you put the ordinary in an ordinary environment, it will still get overlooked. So those
mm,
people in the subway station didn't know that this guy sold out a show the night before, and the tickets went for like, I think, $1,000 or something a seat. Like, again, I have to go
yeah,
back. But again, I know this is a very famous artist and everything. But the moral of the story is, you put the extraordinary in an ordinary environment, and it will be overlooked, right?
mm,
And that's why I said, with the whole podcast thing, it was like, this would have been better if it was like, you could see each other, and you don't have to hold the cat. Like, I just, obviously,
yeah.
starting off, it's a
You
good
know
thing.
what? The
Building
the
confidence.
reason why the thing is, I knew the level I wanted to put it on. But I knew it was gonna take time,
Yeah,
And then at first I thought, listen, I don't have the resource in terms of cameras, equipment,
yeah,
etc.
yeah,
But I was able to at
yeah,
least make a plan, get a
yeah,
few people together,
yeah,
So you say, listen, here, we can do this, we can do episode this, and that,
yeah.
to be able to do it. But I mean, initially I just started with a
Yeah.
phone, just recording from a phone, you
That's
know,
how. That's how. I mean, look at
and
Justin Bieber and all these people. They started next to the street, busting.
yeah,
So it's the
yeah,
same thing. It's like, imagine me saying I can't go to the gym for a year because I don't have money for supplements. Do you understand what I'm
yeah,
saying? So you would give me
yeah,
the same look in terms of, you can go prepare yourself. You can go
yeah,
lose some weight. You can go get some. You can go get stronger, fitter, learn the
yeah,
tricks. So by the
yeah,
time you have money for supplements, this is an example. By the time you have
yeah,
that, your body will be ready for it, and you would have more
100%.
knowledge for it. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Even though you weren't on that level yet, and even though now you're still not on the level that you want to be in, but
yeah.
what I'm saying is, every level has its own value that it brings with. Right, every level has its lessons. I mean, even if the first one was just to build the confidence, just to see if
Yeah,
this crazy idea could work, just to see if there
yeah,
could be some interest, just to see who's willing to
yeah,
come spend the time with you. If that was
yeah,
the only thing that level had to bring, then that was worth it. Do you understand?
yeah, yeah.
And now this,
Yeah,
and
bro.
now
Like,
obviously, like I
you
said,
know what? Like, for me, it's still a learning curve. Like you said initially before we started recording, you said that um yeah, in terms of the craft, and like for me, like I mean, the fact that you say it's a craft, so I'm actually doing something craft worthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So building a type of profession
yeah,
outside of the love, the passion for just speaking to people and
yeah.
gathering people's stories. On that note, I want to give you your flowers as well. You guys talk about giving flowers.
Always.
For losing the weight, bro, and getting your body into the probably the best shape you've ever been in your life. And I
Yeah,
know the weight and the weight you've been carrying, was affiliated to big trauma in your life as
yeah,
well,
of course.
and you cut that weight on your own. You burn all the calories. I don't know what diet exactly you
Can you
following. If you
imagine? Can you
following,
imagine? Can you imagine someone losing 50 kilograms in 6 months?
sure, you did it, brother. High five.
Again, but what I'm saying is that the trauma that you just spoke about, that was the secret ingredient. Because they kept
Yeah,
asking me, how can you train fasted? How can you train 3 times a day fasted?
yeah,
Where
yeah,
do you get the energy to do CrossFit, go for a run, and go swimming afterwards, and
yeah.
only break your fast after 24 hours with diet food? I was still under my calorie intake. So I was basically starving myself.
Mm.
Um, that meant I
What was
had
the
to
weight?
go to
What
that
was
meant
your
I
weight?
had to go to a
What was
seriously
your weight
dark
when
place.
you started this whole journey? Say, I don't know when initially you consciously started.
136. 136.
Yes. And now you currently.
86.
Cha.
Yeah.
Amazing, brother.
And again, if you ask me this and yet I tell you this, yes, it comes out of my mouth, but my brain still doesn't believe it.
Yeah,
I
doesn't
still think
penetrate.
I'm over 130. The only time I see the difference is when I go shopping now. When I go for clothes, then I'm like, I can wear anything I want. I can have that. It fits. They don't have to order something. I don't have to go to the back of the rack to see if there's still a double X or a triple XL. I don't have to walk into big and tall with my head bowed down anymore. So 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 like I said again, everyone saw me as this fun guy, the guy that made jokes, the guy that made everyone feel better. But
Mm.
they never saw how disappointed I was when I
Yeah,
went into
bro.
a changing when I went
Listen,
into a changing room. When I went into a
I
changing room
mean,
and I was like,
your nickname has to change now. Was hij pot geweest, potsikos?
it
Nou,
was
het
Portugal's,
niet.
it was Os, it was
Is he
Os.
pot de deksel?
And you know what's funny? It's funny to know now that I will never be the fat teacher at school anymore. I will never be the. I got so attached to it. Now that the boys like they want to feel my muscles, they're asking me if I'm into bodybuilding. It's just a totally different like wherever I go now, people come like first they told me I was crazy. They told me it will never work.
Yeah.
Just stop it. Just eat. Uh, you're wasting your time. And now everyone is like, what did you do? How did you do it? Where are you?
Mm.
And you know how it goes. It's always like that. It
Yeah,
just
but the thing is, like you said, we very similar in that regard. If the moment somebody says crazy, it's
yeah
the moment when you actually say, okay, listen, all right, let's see how this goes. But you know what, with me, with this podcasting, nobody ever said like, don't, or I mean, discourage me. So
yeah.
it wasn't really,
But I think
and I
again
and
one
I
thing that
wanted
you
somebody to give me that
But
negative
I
mentality.
also think one thing that you don't realize, or why people might not have tried to stand in your way, you always had. I think that's one of the reasons why we also grew close in the first place because you had that. You were a quality person. I mean, not in terms of the life that you lived. I mean, as the person that you were. I mean, you were always this guy without the podcast. Seriously, I mean, I looked at you. I was like, I saw this guy. I'm like, this guy belongs on a billboard. He's like his looks. I mean, the body is like shaped like a horse. He's like the rugby star. The girls go crazy. I don't know if I can, have to. But the girls go crazy, and I'm like, it's J.R. Esterhazy. It's the guy you have to say the surname with. You can't just say J.R. You have to say Esterhazy with, right? And and obviously then thinking of like in my like where I come from. If I went to go visit your house, I was like, this is a millionaire's house. I mean, there's a swimming pool, there's extra sleeping room, there's like, and I'm like thinking, this guy's all he has the good life, you know. And obviously before I knew you and everything you had to go through and knew your situation and your story as well, and obviously that made me click more with you, knowing that you could have turned out. such a different guy with such a different, attitude or views on life. But you just had that in you in terms of everywhere you went. No matter if someone was in a different social class, if they were drunk on the street, you always showed them respect. And that made me get a respect for you. That made me feel comfortable telling you to come sleep at my house, knowing that I don't have a bathroom in my house, or that we might sleep on the ground, or you might go brush your
Yeah.
teeth outside. Because I got,
How many,
I
how many,
because,
how many, how many bathrooms and showers do you own today?
inshallah, as they say, inshallah, soon it will be the second one, the second flat. But
Here we go, brother.
like I'm saying again, yeah, that's a whole different topic. But still, but I'm talking about you now. But seriously, and I don't think you give yourself enough credit, or why people stayed attached to you over these, like, all these past years. Like, again, we don't speak always because we all are busy, we all have our own lives, and we all are
Yeah,
trying to build a future.
yeah, yeah,
But again, even if we do have that conversation, it's quality conversations that we have. It's
yeah,
not just how's the weather, how's your day, what
yeah.
did you eat today. It's like really quality conversations. And the one thing, like,
It's connecting.
yeah, and the one thing I've learned is not a lot of people can put their phone face down, especially in this world today. Not a lot of people can put their phone face down and actually talk about the things that they've done with their life, and talk about their experiences, and talk about their plans, and not just plans that comes from the sky, but things that they've actually achieved or have blueprints for. And we are those people that can literally be like, because of the life we've lived and the challenges we went to go search for and dealt with, we can put our phone down, and we can literally have a conversation for hours, days, about the things that we've done, the things we've been through, that we are going through, and the
Yeah,
plans that we are dealing with, and how we're going to navigate the situation. But and again, that's what I'm saying. Going back to the point of why no one stood in your way, I just think that because you are who you are, I think that no one has a reason to, because you've always shown respect to people. You've always like I said, the way you speak to a waiter, the way you speak to someone at a petrol station, the way you speak to someone working in a cafe or something, someone
you
in the
know, you
street
know,
that's
you
drunk.
know. Sorry to break your word. Something I would always remember when we became friends, and you guys would always ask me, "Hoekom is jy so? Hoe het jy nou altyd gesê? How did you always say? Hoekom sê jy altyd ekskuus? Sorry,
Yeah,
ekskuus."
yeah. It's because, to be honest, that's one thing actually I really, today, I'm not gonna lie. Because I grew up in an environment where it was all, I woke up with swearing, I went to bed with swearing. I never really heard the please or thank you, unless I went to school, because obviously I went to school, as they say, on the other side of the river. So that's also a whole different topic, like going to the other side of the river and then coming back, to the
Yeah,
toxic environment, and to the
sure.
gangsterism and the poverty, and then
Mm.
seeing how life is lived on the other side and coming back. It's just confusing, and it's like, why is my life like this? Or going to sleep over by one of my friends, one of my white friends, and I'm like, this is how life is. Like, you don't even appreciate your mother is tucking
It's
you
a
in.
good life.
They're
It's
asking you,
a
what do
good
you want?
life.
Yeah, they're asking you, what do you want to eat for lunch, and you have the debonair's sticker is posted against, like, the fridge, and I'm like, what? Like literally, it's insane. The dynamic, how different it was. And to be honest, I always grew up knowing I wanted a better life for myself. Like, even by
Mm.
you, like, your family was probably one of the first families that I sat on a table with and to eat food. Like, I never
Sure.
sat on a table to eat food. I didn't even know what to grab first, what to do, how to act. But I always knew. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I can turn my camera. Can you turn your camera here?
Well,
Like, on this app thing, is it possible to turn your camera?
yeah,
Waar druk ik? Waar druk ik om het?
was it landscape dry?
Nee, ik bedoel om het naar die andere kant toe te wijzen. Like, I don't know if you can see, there's a table there. Can you see there's a table?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
don't travel without a table now. What I'm trying to say is, because even though I didn't grow up with one, I always told myself that one day I'm going to sit around a table with my family. And even if I'm in a relationship with someone, I teach you how to treat me. there's certain I've never been in a relationship where there was any type of verbal abuse, not even towards a certain level, in terms of the tone, everything. I will teach it to you because I'm not because I come from a place where I felt unsafe my whole life, you know, and I worked my butt off, like never to be in that situation again. So I will never. I've worked my whole life. Why would I ever settle? I don't settle with my friends in terms of how I deserve to be treated. Why would I ever settle? Which one of the biggest steps is considered your relationship? Because I'm somewhat of
Mm.
an expert in that field. But that also comes from trauma and comes from obviously all these type of things. But what I'm
Yeah,
saying is that
you were the love expert, the love doctor at school, Doctor Phil. Huh?
as they say, you can
Just
only
tell
as,
them how the people used to come to you for advice.
as as they say, no lesson is learned the easy way. And like I said,
I was one of your clients.
yeah, if I could get a free coffee. I mean, I think you were the first guy that ever introduced me to actually having a coffee at a place. I never had a coffee before in my life. I just, because where I come from, you buy like a 1 rand bag of coffee and that's your coffee. Or if you have the, obviously the coffee there, then it's at the end of the month and you will know when it's not the end of the month because then there's nothing left. So I still remember that day you asked me to come with you. I was like, I can get a free coffee out of this? I never had a coffee before. I never knew what lattes were, cappuccinos. Still today, I'm still confused. But and that's why where I am now. I tell these kids here, I'm like, you guys have a totally different life. You have drivers that brings you to school. They take your bag, especially these Pakistani and Indian guys that come here, and they take your bag up the stairs.
Yeah.
And you guys have the safety that you will never appreciate because you don't know how it feels to not have it taken from you. You can go with
Mm.
your small brother. I see boys here with iPhone 15s,
Yeah.
Apple paying, just walking in
Yeah.
the street with Dunkin' Donuts coffees. I'm like, and these boys are like 12 years old. My
Yeah.
first Starbucks was probably when I was 27, 28.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
me too.
yeah,
First Starbucks in Romania.
yeah, and I'm like, and that's why it's so funny because again, when I look at them, and it's just I'm like, somehow I feel sad for them because they will never understand if I drink coffee now, the
Mm.
value that a coffee will always have for me
Yeah.
because it only has value now because I could never afford to do things like that.
Yeah.
But there's so many. The thing is, that's what I'm saying. With us talking,
Mm.
we literally should have like a structure because we are gonna go here, there, and
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
every pot every pot has so
The
much
thing is
gold.
that's actually why I wanted to get you so we can do the intro, and our intro is running on 30 minutes, and I think the time is gonna cut.
What is this,
So
the
I think
intro or is this us talking? Because I wanted to try the app. I don't know what's
I
going on.
mean, yeah, this we can use as an intro.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is there's so many
We can,
topics and every topic has so much gold to offer. And
yeah,
it's like I said, my
yeah,
experience here, your experience in Romania, in South
yeah,
Africa, love life, sports,
yeah,
business. I mean, studying when it comes to family, when it comes to trauma.
yeah.
Trauma is a segment on its own. It's a segment on
Trevor
its own. I
as
think
a series on his own.
if people could get wealthy on the amount of trauma they've been through, we would not have to be doing this podcast now, or we would be doing it from a yacht somewhere. Like,
Yeah,
I'm just saying, that's why I think it's a bit unfair. I think the
we would
more
have been
trauma,
together on the yacht.
yeah, I think the more trauma you've been through, I think that there should be a special kind of reward at the end.
So a special
But
place in heaven, yeah.
no, definitely, definitely.
But take care, my brother. I want to thank you, man. I think I'll call this one episode 18. So I think I'll end off with a start. I think I'll call this one episode 18. You said you want to be the first of the new year 2024. So this would be the intro of you to come.
Well, we stick to our word. So that's how it is.
So, thanks,
I'm
Majid.
excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. And thank you.
Nah,
And what you are doing, trust me, it's worth its value in gold. Don't stop. And
nah,
there's only so much more
100%.
to come, so I'm saying congratulations already.
100%, brother. And I remember I told you something else when we're gonna walk on stage one day. I would want you to be in the front row. So yeah, so we can get this thing sorted.
I'm already there. Time just has to catch up. Have a good night. Much love.
Right, brother. Peace and love.
Always.